Okay, then the patient is on the operating table. This is our A904 transmission out of our 73 Dodge Dart Sport with a 318 V8 engine, and this is similar to a slant 6 version, and it's mostly similar to the larger 727 torque flat transmission, but this video is mainly going to be just for an A904. So what we're going to do at this time is we're going to take a closer look at the outside of this transmission and explain to you what you're looking at, and so that way when you disassemble, you'll know what you have to disassemble and what it is and what it's called. So first up, I showed this on another video. You see numbers on this pad up here. There's a B418-467. That's the partial VIN that matches the car's VIN if it was the original transmission. And then this is where the dipstick tube goes here, up there. This is your front servo pressure test port. This is your line pressure test port. Back here in the back you have the rear servo test port, tail housing of course, and that's about all to see on this side. So give me a second, we'll turn this thing around. Looking at the other side, we have our output shaft seal. This is where the drive shaft goes in. It's a rubber seal, it's replaceable. And then here we have our speedometer adapter, and I've already taken it out, but there's a bolt and a clamp that's kind of a U-shaped clamp, and I'd already bagged that up, or I would show you that in place, but trust me, it does go there. And these adapters have 3 positions on them. You turn these different positions based on what speedometer gear you're running in it. If you notice, there's a series of numbers, and I know these are upside down. See, that says 39 to 45, then you've got 32 to 38, and then on the one on the bottom it says, if we can peek in there, see if our camera will cooperative with us. Let's get a little closer look at that. Let's see if I can get it light. You see on the bottom, that one says it says 18 to 25, and also notice that you notice there's notches around this, and I'm not talking about those large notches. I'm not talking about that one, but there's one there, there's one there, there's one there. The shallow ones, well, notice that there's a little protrusion at the bottom at the 6 o'clock position, and that adapter is located just right at that. It's almost like a timing mark. Well, that's the way that you orient that adapter depending on which speedometer gear you use in there. So if you change your rear end ratio, you have to change your speedometer gear in that adapter, the driven gear they call it. You have to take this adapter back out, and you have to spin it around to the right spot. So if you've got a gear that's got between 39 and 45 teeth, and you see those numbers right there and a little shallow mark on it, you would take this adapter out, you would spin it around to that there is at the bottom at 6 o'clock at that little dot right there, put it back in. So otherwise you'll either destroy your driven gear because this thing's in the wrong spot, or it won't work at all, won't even drive it. So remember that for future reference, if you would. Okay, looking here, we have our rear cooler line fitting. This is a brass fitting. You just unscrew that, take it out. When you put those back in, don't torque them too much. And you also have another one. This is the front pressure line fitting. Okay, over here we have, peeking out somewhere under here, we should have, oh yeah, there it is. See that guy under there? That is your governor pressure test port. So your governor's in this housing in here. Not the governor of your state, the governor of this transmission. And then we have I believe this is your, this is a band adjusting nut right here, strut, it's the end of it. Okay, I believe that is the kick down band adjustment there. I think the reverse band adjusts inside the pan in there. I'll show you that later. Then this guy right here, this is your throttle pressure lever. This is These are well known to be out of adjustment because people don't really know how to adjust these things. The rod runs up to the carburetor, but this is what works when you open, if you have it adjusted correctly, when you open your accelerator up and that rod moves and it pushes back on this thing here, gives you your throttle pressure. This is what controls your shift, timing, and it's just like a modulator valve, but it ain't a modulator valve. This takes the place of one. This is like a Ford AOD transmission. It does the job of a modulator valve. So anyway, this what this is, and this one I'm not sure this one is adjusted right. I think there's something going on in here because I've had a couple different problems with this transmission. Now I haven't specifically had a problem with this that I know of. I've not driven this thing much, just enough to know that it's not working right. The transmission's damaged, but there's a lot of slop in this thing, and I don't think that's supposed to be there. But our good book back there is going to tell us. It's back behind me. It's going to tell us exactly how to adjust that when we put it back together. And then the one below it is your that I bent a little bit, looks like. Whoops. But that's going to be your no, I didn't bend it. I'm sorry. I thought I did. That is your selector lever shaft. Selector shaft lever. That's what gives you park, reverse, drive, neutral, etc., etc. So all the way back is one, all the way forward is another one. So this is your safety switch. This gives you your reverse lights, and this is also your inhibitor switch, so you have to have it in park or neutral to start it. And then down on the side right here we have some various numbers. This is just a model number. This is kind of an assembly type thing. Tells you what application this goes in the 73 Dart. This is our Mopar 10,000 day calendar number 4259, which came up to late March of 1973, and then this number back here is probably a shift number. So there you go. That's everything that you see on the outside of these transmissions. So now you know what they are. And when you take this thing, start taking this thing apart, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my output seal out. I'm just going to pry it out carefully with a flat blade. I'm also going to, I didn't show you that, but I'm assuming you knew that it was up here. You got your input shaft seal there, front seal. You're going to take that out. You're going to go ahead and take a wrench or whatever you want to use and take these out, bag them. You're going to take this out, bag it. Don't forget you got a seal right there, comes with it. And you can go ahead and once you remember, if you need to take a picture or you need to just, you know, write it down, whatever you need to do. This thing, once you take that clamp off, which I've already taken off, then this is ready to pop out. So that will get the external stuff out of the way. And probably what I would do is I would suggest you go ahead and just remove these taps. Pressure test tap plugs right here, the four I showed you, and just bag those up. You can mark them with what they are. And rule of thumb goes, I always say this on things when I'm putting fasteners back in aluminum. This is an aluminum transmission and your fasteners are steel. Some of them are brass, but most of them are steel of some sort or the other. So I'm always kind of get a kind of a lecturing tone of voice here, but just remember you've got torque values in your guidebook back here for all these fasteners, so go by those implicitly. And so when you put things like those plugs back in, don't get a doggone cheater bar out here and torque them down because they might blow out. Just torque them moderately. If you want to put a little bit of Loctite, the blue Loctite on them, that's probably alright, but you probably don't even need to do that. So just be gentle with this thing. And again, take your time, follow your instructions carefully, take as much, don't do this in a rush. Take as much time as you need to, because, you know, there again, we're building a simple transmission. We're not doing a fairly new Ford 6-speed or something like that. It's electronic control. So, you know, it's not a big deal. Just, you know, if you're learning as you go, take the time to learn as you go. Don't rush it. Don't get upset about it. If you get upset or you get in a spot or you get nervous or stressed out and you think that you can't deal with it, or you've screwed something up, there's tons and tons and tons of information out there besides this little video. So don't stress about it. Just walk away from it. Just cover the thing up, whatever you want to do. Walk away from it for a while. Go do something else. Take a couple days if you need to, and then come back to it. You know, you may have to just come in and sit down and look at it for a little bit, and you know, then you'll realize, you know, whatever the next step is that you need to take on it. So don't, you know, everybody has to learn these things, same as me. I'm learning them too. So that's why I don't represent this as a professional video. This is just kind of a documentation of me learning how to do this. So I hope that you can learn also. So enough talking. So it's time to go ahead and get going on this thing, and I'm going to start, like I said, I'm going to take all this stuff I told you, the seals out, and pull them and throw them in the garbage. Take this out, take the these cooler line fittings off, and the pressure test port thing, the speedo out, take those out. And you can go ahead, now the book may tell you different a different schedule on taking these out, but I'm going to go ahead and just take these off too, because I've had these. I've replaced a seal in here before. There is a seal in there many different times, so those have to come out. So anyway, so there we go. Let's get going, and I'll try to document this every step of the way. There we go.